The Dawn Warrior, Chapter 1. You shall be forgotten! The dark sorcerer's voice, amplified by magic and physical tricks, echoed around the large chamber. Chanting, Roxana cast her spell. Bright white light flared as cleansing magic chased away all the darkness and shadows from the room for a brief moment. The stone chamber was decorated to intimidate and impress with statues of fiendish gargoyles in suits of rusty armor. The bodies of the knights who had come to slay the sorcerer were still inside them. Mold grew along the stone of the walls, and spiderwebs clung to corners, as if the decay of the sorcerer's soul reflected in his surroundings. The bright red of the warrior's hair from under her helmet was the only true color to the room. She dug the tip of her sword into the floor and leaned against it for balance. She felt the magic of the death curse pass over her and stick like cobwebs to her aura, adding another layer to the curses already there. She huffed out of breath. Her special tri-bladed dagger still dripped dark red with the sorcerer's blood, dropped from her hand to her thigh. The sorcerer aged before her eyes, going from a man in the peak of his youth to someone near the end of his life. Roxana's knowledge of magic was rudimentary at best. Her teachers were those she met on the road that were willing to impart a few tidbits of craft, theory, and lore. They were good spells that helped keep people young. They worked by repairing the genetics of the caster. And then there were the spells that this sorcerer had obviously used, the spells that stole years from others' lives. Roxana panted and eyed him. He wasn't going anywhere. In a few minutes, he'd be too infirm to even walk, and his magic was spent. He was exhausted as she. Most of his magic had gone to fending her off with offensive spells, the rest broken up by her cleansing spell. The last he'd used was to cast his preemptive death curse. Fool! She hadn't been trying to kill him. He'd drawn more of her blood than she'd drawn of his, though none of her wounds were serious. The only mark upon him, a small cut to his arm, in order for her to set the cleansing spell upon him. She shut her eyes and worked to gather some of the dissipating magic in the room. The air was thick with it, but unless she gathered it to replenish her own stores, it would fade away, returning to wherever magic went. The gathering of magic had been one of the few things her initial